Live from Hollywood, it's the Billy Masters Show. And now, please join us in welcoming the star of our show, Billy Masters.
Oh my God! Hold on, come on. Oh. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. We are now on. I have lost track of what day it is. I am not the only one who has lost track. One of our guests wasn't even sure what day it was till I said to her half hour ago. She's like, "That's today." Anyway, it is Thursday, April 9th. I hope you are all happy, healthy, staying safe because, you know, this is going to be a while. I mean, this is going to be a long while. And I'm wearing a sweater, even though I'm still in Boston, because it's freezing. And by freezing, I mean 48, but that's freezing too. I have a special first guest. I'm not going to do I'm going to do a little bit of a monologue. Marilyn Maye came into my life, I guess, 15, 20 years ago. And through our mutual friend and lawyer, Mark Sendroff, where, of course, all people intersect, anybody good at least. And Marilyn and I started doing vacations together. And we would join this motley crew in Provincetown. And here's a picture of a bunch of us. That's me, Varla G. Merman, Marilyn Maye, Nancy Dussault and her husband, Danny Guerrero. Oh, I can't see who else is there. I'm probably missing somebody. But we do this basically every year. We travel together. There's a group of us. And I adore her, and she turns 92 tomorrow. So even though we couldn't get the technology to work, we are going to have Marilyn Maye on speakerphone. And Auntie Marilyn, are you there?
I'm here. Did you say I was a singer?
Oh, did I say you were a singer? Did I say you were a legendary singer?
I don't know if they know that I'm a singer.
Well, who the hell do they think you are? Madam, the puppet?
And I'm still working, except that not now. I'm not working. I was supposed to open last night at Feinstein's 54 Below in New York City.
For your annual birthday gig?
For 8 days. Oh. This would be, I think, my 5th or 6th yearly engagement during my birthday time.
Yeah.
Not, I have other engagements all through the year, but this was the birthday time at Feinstein's 54 Below has always happened for 8 nights during my birthday. And so it's really fun because a lot of people come, and it's nice to be applauded on your birthday.
Look, I know you. You celebrate your birthday all month.
I do, all the month of April.
Well, I say that at 92, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Well, I think that's always it. You mentioned our lawyer from New York City. His name is Mark Sendroff. Mm-hmm. And he started naming my shows when I was 90. So he named the year that I was 90, 2 years ago, 90 at Last. That was the name of the show. And then when I was 91, it was I Wish I Were 90 Again. And this time, that was when I was 91. That was last year. So this year, it was to be called 92, and I'm Not Through.
There you go.
And so I'm not through. I just have to postpone my birthday a little bit.
Well, we're all on hiatus. But where are you on hiatus? Where are you?
I'm in Kansas City. I have a house in Kansas City, and my apartment in New York. Not my apartment, but an apartment that I rent in New York. And I'm safe in my house in Kansas City.
Thank God.
That happened, luckily, I guess, or I don't know. But I had just done an engagement at a wonderful club called Jazz St. Louis in St. Louis.
Yes.
And we did our 3-day engagement with a 12-piece band. I beg your pardon, with a 15-piece band. And the wonderful, all the musicians in St. Louis were just great. And I carried my rhythm section. And we had 3 wonderful nights there in March. And I had planned to go back to Kansas City because it was in the vicinity, because I was going to fly to Palm Springs to my wonderful engagement called the Purple Room.
Oh, sure.
I worked that twice a year, and thought I would fly from Kansas City to the Purple Room and finish that engagement, then fly back to New York. And none of that happened. We got as far as Kansas City, and that's when everything halted. And
well, thank God you were home.
Yes, yes, it was. I'm very fortunate that we are home, and I'm staying in.
Good.
I'm told to do, and I have an assistant. Her name is Helen.
Yo, I know Helen.
And you love Helen.
She's my Helen.
She loves you.
Yes, well.
And she has been purchasing the groceries when it's senior time at the grocery store. She goes and she gets the groceries, and then she cooks. And I eat gummy bears and watch old movies.
Oh God! Don't eat too many. You've got to fit into those Bob Mackie gowns.
You're right. Bobby had a birthday, Bob Mackey.
Yep.
He had a wonderful birthday last March. Last month.
Yep.
And we talked. He's safe in his home. And Joe, his darling assistant,
Joe
is you know Joe.
I love
Did
Joe.
you mention Joe? Or did you mention them?
I didn't yet, but they are part of our little group that vacations together. I mean, people don't realize that we have the strangest group that we travel with. I mean, we've got drag queens, we've got Oscar, Academy Award winning designers, we've got singers, we've got lawyers, and it's all ages. We all just click. We have so much fun.
Well, everybody loves life, and everybody's productive and talented, and we all love each other's talent and support it.
And so that's a really good question. You talk about loving life. You're 90, you're going to be 92 tomorrow. I jumped the gun, you know me. But
yes.
So 92, this is usually when somebody would just kick back and relax and say, I don't need any of this crap. But you're busier than ever.
No. Oh, but my singing is what I'm about. That is what I do. And what would I do? I don't know what I'd do if I didn't work for the people and sing songs that have a meaning, and the Great American Songbook. That's where I am, and great lyrics and great messages, and I think that's really necessary these days. And I wish I could do it tonight and tomorrow night, but I understand, and I'm fortunate in that I'm in a safe place. I hate it I hate this hiatus for the wonderful, all the darling wait staff and the musicians, the great musicians that I have there. Everybody's out of work, and I'm sorry, but we'll just have to tough this through, and we'll come back stronger as soon as it's over. I hope it's over very soon.
I do too, because we don't want to interrupt our vacation.
But in the meantime,
yes,
everybody must stay in. They must not get brave and decide that they'll just go for a walk. People are walking, and I guess maybe that's safe. I don't know. I just think staying inside is maybe the best idea of all.
It's actually, I've never known you to just stay in one place without working. So in a way, this is like this is probably the first.
But all the shops are closed.
Oh no, please. It gives me flashbacks. I have gone shopping with Marilyn Maye. First off, you go to that Himalayan store in Provincetown and you meet an alpaca because there are so many purchases.
I love her.
I know you love her.
Lady that owns that Himalayan store.
Oh God, you in the Himalayan store.
Oh dear, Como, and what's her name? I've lost it now.
I know. I just call her Hey.
I get to see her, and we stand and talk about wonderful things, and I love her shop. I love Provincetown. The Anchor Inn is the place where I stay, and the boys.
You're home away from home.
Are so supportive and so wonderful to so positive. Everybody has positive, happy thoughts, and that's the way it should be.
It's funny because I'm looking at a photo here, and I'm going to put it up for people to see. It was about, God, I guess 6 years ago. And you and I were with Carol Channing in Provincetown. She came to see your
and
show.
Tommy Tune.
Yep, she came to see your show, and then we went to see her show with Tommy Tune, and then the three of us took this gorgeous photo. And she might have been 95 then. Is that possible?
I'm not sure how old she was, but she was darling. She sat through my show and
She did.
and loved it
And applauded like crazy.
She was adorable.
I mean, we've had a lot of great times, and I'm going to show a picture of us just from last year. But you and I have a particular pose that we do in photos.
And what is that? I've forgotten.
We put our little, I don't know how this started.
We put our hands under our chin.
Yes. Now, how did that start? I'm going to put up a photo. Do you remember?
I believe in hands under your chin.
Do you?
It isn't hanging too long, but it kind of works.
And the older you get, eventually you need two hands.
Then you lean on something with your elbows.
So we have done this every year. Darling, I look forward.
And everybody who's taking pictures of you, please know that you hold the camera very high.
Thank you. I have been saying that for years. You know, it has to be a little higher every year. And I want to tell people that when this all gets over, and it will get over, you will be back on the road. Hopefully you will be at the P-Town Art House this summer, we hope.
At the wonderful art house in the first week in September now it is.
Oh, really? You've been moved.
Labor Day is later. You know, we always do the week before Labor Day.
Yeah.
And so we open on the 1st of September for 5 nights. And, oh, yes, I'm going to my lake resort in northern Iowa. There's a gorgeous lake resort that I've worked for. This will be my 63rd year.
Isn't that incredible?
At that lake resort. And I go there in August. In July, we're working. I don't know. It's frightening. We don't know how. You know, I'm supposed to be at the Iridium in June.
Right, and I don't think that's going to happen.
The Iridium, which is in New York City, and so I'm hoping that we can do some of those engagements. I 54 Below will be back there in October.
Wow.
As we always do. We always work April and again in October. So that's the good news. I'll probably get to celebrate my birthday then.
There you go. You know, I say 92 and a half has a lovely ring to it.
You think? 92 and a half, and I have to say I'm not true.
That's right, exactly. Sweetheart.
So, I would sing songs like The Secret of Life is to value the passage of time. Everyone can do it. Yes, we'll all get through it. Cling to the thought that soon this problem will end. For now we'll stay apart and display the fact we value each and every day. We'll open up our hearts and we will say, it's no secret that this will all go away.
Ah, gorgeous, my darling. See, I even got you to perform.
Well, I have to sing.
I know you have to sing.
Everybody else, I hope everybody that loves singing will do a lot of that these days.
Well, I wish you the happiest of birthdays tomorrow. You know I adore you. I'll probably call you tomorrow anyway. But I miss you.
Thank you so much. My heart and my love goes out to all those who have been in my audience and my darling friends and just everybody in this world. I want everybody to do what's right. Stay inside. Don't tempt it. But think positive thoughts. Positivity is going to work. I know it will.
Well, God, from your lips to God's ear. Look, stay safe, stay healthy. Have a wonderful birthday. We all love you. Thank you, my darling.
I love you and your wonderful spirit, Billy. I love you.
I love you too. I'll talk to you soon, honey.
Bye, sweetheart.
Bye-bye, darling. Coming to us from Kansas City, the wonderful Marilyn Maye. And somebody wanted to say a quick hello, but since we had technical issues with Marilyn, she is 92. The abacus doesn't have a webcam, but we do have one of the people who travels with us, and that is, of course, the fabulous Randy Roberts. What are you touching?
Hello, darling. What?
How are you? Were you touching yourself in a
No, I was like this.
Oh, what? Is someone else there? You have to cover your mouth,
No. I was.
You're all alone?
It was the abacus line. I was. But now I've touched my face. Now I've touched my face. I've got to go wash my hands again.
Oh God! Look, I want to show a picture of you, me, and Marilyn together. I think 2 years ago. Is this 2 years ago?
Yes, and there's the pose.
There's the pose. We have one look, and she's taught us all.
Yes, you should see. Wait a minute. Let me put this up a little higher. I've got the computer up on a stand. I've got the lighting from above.
No, I know it's all ridiculous.
I'll just sit like there.
Yeah, could you? Randy Roberts, for those of you who don't know, because apparently, as Marilyn Maye pointed out, I don't do good intros. Randy Roberts, I don't want to start with illusionist extraordinaire because you're more than that. You are an amazing talent. You're an actor. You're a singer, an incredible singer, an entrepreneur, a Key West legend, a Palm Springs staple. You're everywhere.
I get around.
Well, like herpes.
Thanks, but it always comes back.
Like herpes, yes.
I guess I'm probably best known as a drag performer, illusionist.
Yeah.
I don't care what they call me as long as they call.
And they do. They do. And speaking of calling, you've got a show coming up on next Tuesday, I think?
Tuesday, 8 o'clock on both Facebook, on my what page is it? It's on my Randy Roberts Facebook page, and it's on my YouTube channel. It's going to broadcast on both. Trying out this platform.
Yes, and it's 8 o'clock Eastern. We have to always tell people.
8 o'clock Eastern. I have no idea what it's going to be like. I have tried to figure out how I was going to do changes, and I realized I can't show video. So it may be a very revealing show.
Well, there you go. If you want to get a little fistful of Randy, that's where to go. Well, we've shared a dressing room.
Yes. Have we?
Well, I've been in your dressing room.
This is true. We haven't shared it.
No, we haven't shared. I've never touched you, I don't believe.
No. I can look back I can look back at the lawsuits and see if you're included.
No, I am not. And would I sue you? Sue you?
Thank you. I just worked with her.
Of course you did. Why wouldn't you? And I should say, down in Key West, when people can get to Key West, you are at La Di Da.
I am at La Di Da, the Crystal Room. I've been there for, 22 years.
Really? Is it that long?
Yeah, 22 years in August.
And you're supposed to come back to Provincetown this year, God knows.
I'm scheduled to open July 8th. Now, it will probably be July 1st if the season opens on time, because I was supposed to be in London the first week of July for a wedding, which has been postponed until June of 2021. So this is
Provincetown at the P-Town Art House,
Yes, Marilyn. At the Art House on Wednesday.
I believe you're her opening act.
No, actually, she's on before I am.
Oh, sure.
But she is not my opening act. She would never be my opening act.
I should hope not. Oh, stop futzing with the hair. You look gorgeous.
I can't help it.
All right, now I've lost my headphones. How do you like that? This is a very professional show. Nothing's happening. I mean,
yes,
as we said.
But your backdrop is stunning.
Well, look, we have it's been like you said, you and I talked about this yesterday. It's been a learning curve, and we're doing what we can. We're keeping people entertained, hopefully bringing people together, if for no other reason than just to laugh and see what happens.
Hello. I mean, I have things being delivered every day for this show Tuesday. Ring lights.
Where are you getting deliveries? I can't get anything.
Amazon. I've got a ring light that came last week. I got Mylar curtains. Right there, ring light. And I've got a more directional video light being delivered today.
Ring light.
Yes.
Ring light on and off. I've got it.
Oh, yeah. And you can change the color, which I like.
Yes, I noticed that. Let's see. So this is very hot, obviously. Let's make it a little cooler. And then I've got, where is my soft one? Oh, I'm kidding. Look, I'm not playing with it on the air. I'll play with you later.
Vaseline on the lens just works just as well for softening.
Exactly. The old Lucille Ball trick.
Thank you very much.
All right, darling, I have to run because I've got guests backed up. But I love you. People can watch you again next Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern.
On
Facebook or YouTube.
Exactly. And happy birthday to Marilyn Maye. And I know you have Sam coming on. So hi, Sam. Haven't seen you in ages.
If you don't mind sitting backstage, I'll bring you on when Sam's on and we can sit. You want to sit and watch?
I'll sit and watch.
All right. Enjoy the show.
Thank
you, darling. I love you. Oh, all right. Now I'm exhausted. And I haven't even gotten to my first official guest. Okay, my first guest. I can't even believe. Now, of course, I don't even see her there. So hopefully she is around. Oh, there, I see movement. She is alive. Okay. I don't know if Sheryl Lee Ralph needs an introduction. She's legendary. Everyone fell in love with her in Dreamgirls when it took Broadway by storm 38 years ago. Hold on, wait, I got a picture of Dreamgirls. Look at them. Gorgeous. Oh, God, she's looking. And she's got a movie coming out this Saturday. Look, Sheryl Lee Ralph is always working. It's on the Hallmark Channel called Fashionably Yours. It's this Saturday. Welcome, certainly the always fashionable Miss Sheryl Lee Ralph. Hello, my darling. Oh, my God, she's got a mask. How are you? Yes, strike a pose, girl.
Yes,
How are
darling.
you?
We must have a mask. I'm good, honey. I'm wearing it.
A
Mine
diva
says
mask.
divinely inspired, victoriously alive, and awesome during the time of Corona. That's right, baby. If you have to have a mask, you better say something.
Well, it certainly says something about you. You are a diva. And you've owned the word. I mean, that's what I love about it is diva kind of got bastardized and became an insult, and you owned it and redefined it.
Honey, I love you so much, Billy. Billy,
You know I
we've
love
known
you.
each other quite some time. I don't
Long
even
time.
remember how we met, although I'm sure Jennifer Lewis had something to do with it.
Okay, let me
Was that
say,
it?
I was just going
Come
to
on.
say that. So, okay, we've known each other for how many Divas Simply Singings have there been?
Believe it or not, this year we will celebrate 30th year of Divas Simply Singing, making us
Unbelievable.
the longest consecutive running musical AIDS benefit of its kind in the country, which I'm stunned by. I can't believe it.
It's kind of shocking. And I remember, I think it was 25 maybe, that you were thinking about stopping the benefit. And this is something that I love telling people is I asked you if the rumors were true and you pulled me into the dressing room and closed the door. And she said, what do you think? And Sheryl Lee Ralph is somebody who isn't a cocky diva. She brings people in. She brings the best people in. She is the best team. And she has learned that the only way to lead is to also listen and ask people what they think. And when we're all on the same page, we can do amazing things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, of course, now we're going to celebrate 30 years. And I think about, that's half my adult life. That is
Yeah.
a whole half of my adult life spent trying to raise awareness around HIV and AIDS. And I'm telling you, Billy, I don't know about you, but in this time of Corona, I see something. There is a page out of the HIV AIDS movement that I hope we use to battle health inequality. And that is when the gay community realized how much they were being ostracized, how much people were finding it easy not to care about them, not to help them, how much people turned a deaf ear to their cries for help. They turned the fight inside. They organized, they strategized, they demanded a seat at the table. It may be 40 years of HIV/AIDS in America, but within that 40 years, it gave the movement a viable presidential candidate.
Well, that's true.
Pete Buttigieg.
Yep.
So I'm just saying, if you are bothered by health inequalities, if you are black or brown and you are seeing how you are being affected by this corona, it is time to organize, strategize, and leverage what you have so that something changes. I'm just saying.
It's fun. No, as you do. I've never needed to wind you up. You're very passionate about this. You're passionate about this. And I did show the picture, Dreamgirls 38 years ago.
Oh,
And
funny.
when you started Diva Simply Singing, that was, 8 years later. And I know really your Dreamgirls experience really galvanized you. It really motivated you to get people together. What was it about that experience?
I think that only now people can realize what it was like to see your friends drop dead.
Yeah.
When I said to people over the years they would be sick today and dead tomorrow.
Yeah.
Last week Wednesday, my uncle, 92 years old, went into the hospital. Friday, he was dead.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. I'm so sorry, Cheryl.
Thank you. But that is the closest that I can come to in remembering what it was like 38 years ago and what it is like now.
Is it a PTSD? I mean, does it trigger that feeling that we had 40 years ago? The helplessness, the surprise, the shock?
The only thing I can say is that I am girded up by the fact that I know that help will come, but it is the help that comes from within all of us. The best help that is out there is right at the end of your own arm. And that help is to watch out and do the best for yourself. And by doing that, you will be able to do better for others. I mean, the drag queen says it all the time. If you can't love yourself, how in the hell you think anybody else will do it? Because if you're not lovable, come on now. If you're not lovable, why should you be loved? You've got to be the one that attracts the love. And you attract that love by being able to give love honestly, wholly, and with respect. Now, mind you, let me just tell you a secret. See, I have been locked up with my husband.
Oh, the senator.
What? Yes, I have been locked up with Senator Hughes for almost a month. And do you know, 24/7, baby? And do you know that in all of the years that we have been married, we have never been locked up this long together, ever? So you know.
If you could survive that.
Thank you. That part. Thank you.
I know.
Thank
Well,
you,
you know,
Billy.
I love the senator. Well, I love the senator, and I always say to him that he is a saint because you have such a demanding career. You're always traveling. You're really never together for a very long period of time. He's, as we said, senator from Pennsylvania. You are, as I love to call you, the first lady. And but you also
the 7th senatorial district of Pennsylvania. Yes, West Philadelphia.
And I will also mention you have two of the most gorgeous children. Is this you with the children?
Thank you. That's me with Etienne and Coco.
I adore them both. You know that. They are great. You know, it's funny. I have known them so long. I knew them as kids. And to have seen them grow up and be always first so respectful, which you don't see a lot with kids. And I've got nieces and nephews. They're rotten. I hate them. No, they're lovely people, but they go through that difficult time. You know, your kids were always the loveliest people. And I also have to say your parents. Your parents. It's generational. I don't know how many people in the entertainment industry I know their whole family and have gotten to know them year after year. And I saw the way your mother at the last Divas looked at you, and it's the way you look at your kids.
Thank you. I mean, you know, people ask me all the time, how have I been able to raise two wonderful people? And I have to tell you, I raise my children and I'm raising myself. My parents instilled love in me, and that love built me up. I instill it in my children. My parents encouraged me to think. They encouraged me to think. I encourage my children to be independent, critical thinkers. I mean, sometimes we butt heads because they're thinking and we're not necessarily thinking the same, but at least they're thinking. My parents raised me to understand that people are not the same. There are all different kinds of people in the world, and all people, no matter who, no matter what, deserve respect, if only because they're human beings.
Absolutely.
So, like you're saying, I'm only able to teach what I have been taught. And I'm very happy that I had two vessels that could receive what it was I had to give to them in life. And I'm telling you, if mama gives you that look, you better pay attention, honey, because the patience is wearing thin and you're about to get popped. And every now and then somebody needs just a little pop to remind them, hey, I'm talking to you.
I agree.
Just a little one now.
Now,
Yeah,
what are
we
your
don't
kids?
want domestic violence with the children. No.
No, of course. But it is about respect, and it's about knowing your place as well.
Right.
But there's something, as well as I know you, and I did a little research going into this, and I said, I never would have thought Sheryl Lee Ralph and Helen Mirren had something in common. Now, do you know what I'm going to? Okay.
Oh, God. I have a funny feeling I think I know what you're going to.
Okay. So
are you going to post the picture?
I am going to post the picture. I think this is 2 years ago. Well, Cheryl, when have I not? Look, I've been in a dressing room with you, so I've seen it all. But
yes, you've seen the real deal, actually.
Oh, it's funny because we'll get to the picture in a second, but I remember when I first met, we saw each other. We had many mutual friends, but I think it's when I started coming to Divas with Jennifer and either playing the piano for her or singing with her or whatever. I have been an honorary diva that I have sat in the dressing room with you between costume changes when you say, everyone out, no men in here. Billy, you can stay. I mean, it's just, and we just sit and we laugh and you have no ego. And one little anecdote, I think one of the first times we started talking more, and we didn't know each other well, we knew each other, but I asked you a question. I said, I've been wanting to ask you this. You said, give me your phone. I said, what? You said, give me your phone. You took it and you did something and said, now you've got my number. Just call. And it was maybe the first time anybody had ever done that. Somebody in the business that I looked up to. Again, everything that you have done around me has fallen together in that's the real deal, including, now this I have not seen, this.
Oh my gosh.
Now, how old were you and where were you and what were you thinking? But you look so fabulous.
Okay, let me tell you something about that. We were in Sag Harbor, and I had literally just finished my run on Broadway in Wicked. So
which is this?
There you go.
Baby, I'm ready for you. Whatever you throw at me.
Oh, honey,
okay, we'll go back to the bikini. Go ahead. I know.
So whatever it was that we were doing on stage, because people think that doing Broadway is a walk in the park, but honey, when you're doing a role, a character where you really, really have to be, on stage and involved, you better be ready because it took the pounds off, baby. So that was what, 2 years ago?
I think
so. That was 2 years ago.
All right, you are insane. I can't believe you. I really can't. And you posted it. God love you.
Yeah. Why would I not post it, honey? Thank you.
You are the queen of Instagram.
Thank you. I love my Instagram, Diva3482. I love my Instagram. A younger woman said to me, oh my God, Miss Ralph, you look good for your age. I had to say to her, sweetheart, I look good for any age.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you have, it's amazing. Can I ask you, this is really, I hadn't planned on asking you this. You've always been one of the most stunning women I have ever seen in my life. Staggeringly beautiful. I've seen you with no makeup. I've seen you made up. It does not matter. And I'm just going to show. So here we are.
Oh, gosh.
And there we are. Look at us. We've got I have more pictures with Sheryl Lee Ralph than I do with anybody in my family. And there we are again. Now, the
Oh my
funny
God,
thing
you're
about those
so
three
good.
pictures, they may have been the same night. You are known for changing. But here's
That's
the
because I
thing.
changed so much. Yes.
But okay, so staggeringly beautiful. How has
Thank
your
you.
beauty helped you in your career? And has there been a downside? Has it stopped you from doing something you want to do?
I am so thankful to you for that question. Believe it or not, I'll never forget coming out of Dreamgirls,
Mhm.
coming to California. A specific writer, producer, director who shall remain nameless. He gave me a double-edged compliment. I was done up, and I had a dress, and the dress had a heart in the middle. Not something that was garish or unladylike or
Like
whatever.
a cutout or a picture?
It was a cutout.
Cutout. Okay.
A cutout,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Right. So the cleavage was a heart, right?
Yes,
And
okay.
he looked at me and he said, it's really a shame that you dress like that, because when you dress like that, nobody's ever going to see how smart you are. All they're going to see is your tits.
Yes.
And
And you
I was
gave him
like,
that look.
to this day, I can hardly say hello to that person. But you know what? Now that I've said this out loud,
Yeah.
I'm done with it. I'm
Yeah.
actually over it, because what I just realized is
Mhm.
that for 35 years, I gave that rodent a bit of power over me by holding on to that feeling. And the lady in me, I'm not going to cuss you out. I'm not going to tell you about your hind parts. I'm not going to fight to do that. I'm going to walk away. But I walked away and I held on to those feelings. And now I'm just like, you know what? If I have to dress to your standard for you to be able to see what's going on in my head, my heart, my mind, then guess what? We're not the people for each other. We are just not the people for each other. Which, when I started Divas, people were like, well, why Divas? And I said, believe it or not, there is power in beauty. However it is perceived, there is power in beauty. People like beautiful things. People like things that make them feel good. People like things that look good. That's why people buy art. That's
Yeah,
why
of course.
people, tune into certain kinds of music. But has it been a hindrance? Absolutely, it has been a hindrance, because
Really?
some people say, oh, God, yes. Some
Mhm.
people have looked at me and have immediately assumed that I was stupid.
Oh, wow.
It was, oh, God, yes. There's some people who, when they find out that I entered college at 16, graduated college at 19, was the first female graduate of an all male school, Rutgers College, Rutgers University, when they
Hello.
find that out, thank you. They can't. It does not compute for them. They
Right.
cannot put any of it together. And
Yeah.
I've had people to say things like, "Are you sure it's the same Sheryl Lee Ralph?" Based only upon the way I look.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been a hindrance at
Have
times,
you ever
but
have you ever played a role that you had to be ugly?
You know what? That I had to be ugly. When I was doing Claws, I was
Oh,
really
right.
hoping I was really hoping that we could go for, the prosthetics and all that would make me older. But all
Right.
I got was that crazy wig that should have had its own Instagram account. I
Um,
did do I did
yeah,
do that role in One Mississippi, which is a great series that you can binge on while you're at home. One Mississippi on Amazon. And I played a woman on the spectrum, and they really wanted me to be much less.
mhm,
And the more we went for less, the more people seemed to be like, wow, maybe there's more to her. So it's one of those push and pull type things. So
right.
now I haven't really had the role where I've been able to reveal something else, but it's coming.
Oh, I'm sure. Now, speaking of coming, this Saturday, Hallmark
Yeah.
Channel. There's your second Hallmark film, because I remember the last one, didn't you own like a ski chalet or something?
In the last one, I was recently widowed. I think it was the Christmas, not the Christmas Hotel. I forget the name of it.
But it was some sort of ski Christmassy thing. This is not Christmas.
This one is not Christmas at all. This one, I play the mom to Cat Graham. A lot of the younger viewers will know Cat Graham.
Yeah, of course.
So Cat Graham is in Seattle, and she meets a friend from her past, played wonderfully by Kendrick Sampson. I love him. And I sort of finagle a way to get the two of them together for real love, for love's sake. I like it. It's a good little movie.
Do you like working with Hallmark? They seem to like working with the same people over and over again. So if they like you, they'll work.
Well, and I so appreciate that. But what I like about this particular cast was that Hallmark was making an effort, a real effort, at full diversity. And in this time, diversity meant adding some color to their lineup. And I appreciate that. I also appreciate them addressing how their choice around, erasing the gay couple out of that commercial that was aired on the network.
At Christmas, right.
And it happened during Christmas. And I appreciate them trying to address that fact. It would be so easy for them not to address it at all and just say, well, those people said that, so now we're just going to go with that. But they really tried to address it. And I'm all for big companies, especially big media companies, entertainment companies, addressing where they might have gone a little askew.
And it's funny because it was one of the first times that I can remember that a company head, a CEO, came out and said, we fucked up. Sorry. And it's back. And that, do you know the balls it takes to actually not pivot, not just deflect, but say, we screwed up. We're sorry. I respect that. I really do.
And that's why I love you. Mwah.
Well, because, I will tell, look, we have both been in high pressure moments, particularly your shows where things are going on fast and furious and you just have to make the best of it. And you kind of throw things around and hope it happens. And at the end you say, thank you. And you always I have seen you go up to every volunteer and say, thank you. And again, I think that's one of the reasons why people are loyal to you. I really do.
Thank you.
Wow.
I never want to underestimate the fact that everybody is going through something. Everybody is carrying their thing. And in little ways, how can we address people right where they are?
Right.
And sometimes for me, it's simply by saying, thank you. I see you and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, you succeed. And one of the people that you've included is another one of our very good friends who has appeared in, God, he has been an honorary male diva, as you know. And he has performed with you in the First Wives Club musical in San Diego. And of course, he is the original American Idol, as far as I'm concerned. I actually want to read... I want to read something that I wrote about him in 2002. I wrote this. If I were ever to write a personal ad, I would simply say, wanted, Sam Harris, period. I can't think of another man who would be more perfect. And that still holds true. And this is 18 years later. Sam Harris, welcome, my love.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Sam.
Conversations. I've had the same problem, Cheryl. People assume that I'm stupid, but it's probably because I'm stupid.
It also could be because of photos like this.
Oh.
Or this. Or this.
My.
Or this. Sam Harris, this is your life. Now, admittedly, these were all taken in the same day. It was a very good day, clearly. But Sam Harris, you can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. And You know, I didn't show this, but this sort of is interesting. This is Sam and I backstage at Divas,
Ooh,
sort
I
of
put my
hanging
glasses
out.
on.
That's
Yes.
We were
That's a
looking for
great
guacamole, if I recall correctly, Sam, because Cheryl always feeds us.
always.
The best I can.
And by the way, speaking of feeding, I'm having trouble during this quarantine. I can't, it's me, my husband, and my son. It's hard for me to cook for 3 people. I just want to feed everybody. And also, I'm so happy in the kitchen. I'm making way too much food. I'm taking it to people because I don't know, because in the way I live, if there's, if there's nothing left, you didn't have nearly enough. So I'm baking. I've gained 10 pounds in the last 3 weeks.
That's the Corona weight.
It's the Corona 20.
But it will stick. It can stick. So Sam, you got to work it out, baby. You got to work it out, honey. You got to have a day of starvation where you don't eat.
As you say, from lying in your bed. I'm just going to bring that out.
Well, the thing is, I would say that when this is all over, it will be Speedo season. But Sam, you've got a husband. Who cares? And a hot husband.
Yeah.
I have a photo of. Yes, go ahead.
You were talking about being with your husband. Danny and I, today is our 25th anniversary.
Oh,
and happy anniversary, Danny and Sam.
And 5 of the best years of my life. Not consecutively. But anyway, the first year we were together 24/7. We were on the road,
right.
You were
performing a lot together.
We were performing, but it's so hot that first year. It's just and now here we are 25 years later, quarantined for a month so far, because Danny travels all the time, like your husband,
right.
Quarantine. And it's not, I'm going to move to the garage. I'm going to put in a little bit. What?
Go ahead, Cheryl.
My husband has moved to the basement.
Oh, that works. And also, we just got a new puppy because my son's birthday, 12 years old, was 2 days ago on the 7th. So here we are. There's no school. So we got him a new puppy and one of those Oculus Quest VR things. We see him just this.
Oh.
That's so sweet. And I want to show this picture, Sam. Now, I remember this night vividly. This was after Pippin in Los Angeles. Can you see it?
Oh, Mimi.
It's me and Danny and you and Mark Sendroff and, of course, our beautiful Mimi Hines.
Yes. Oh, my God. I enjoyed doing that so much.
Can I just tell you now, both of you performed with, what was it called? Reprise, right? Was that what it was called?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. And so Cheryl had performed Applause with them, playing the lead role. And I thought perhaps the first woman of color to play that role. Is that true?
That is very true. And what's even more interesting is who was in the chorus.
I don't know. I know.
Let me tell you. Do you know of the exercise guru Sean T?
Of course.
Oh yes, he was in Pippin too.
Yeah.
Okay, he was in the chorus, and I remember when we did Applause, he was at his wit's end. He said, "Miss Cheryl, I've got a mother, I've got a sister, I've got to take care of." He says, "I am a tall black gay man in the chorus. How long am I going to?" Okay, this is what he said. And I said, "Baby, you have got to know that there's a place for all of us. You got to, if you can't figure it out, you need to distance yourself, figure it out." And next thing I know, I'm like, who is this multimillionaire man here working it out? He found his place. The next one in the chorus was Leslie Odom.
Wow.
Leslie Odom from Hamilton.
Right.
Yeah.
Leslie Odom, we had a conversation, and he said, Miss Ralph, I used to do Dr. Martin Luther King. I have a dream speech every year for your husband at the state capitol when I was little.
Wow.
And I thought, and I thought to myself, wow, how times and things change, and how would he make his fame as Aaron Burr in Hamilton? And he's another big star.
Billy just mentioned
Sam?
First Wives Club. I think we had more fun backstage than we had on stage. You and I were always at it, always singing, always laughing. It was such a great company, and it was a troubled show. The book was great. Holland Dozier Holland did the songs, but it just didn't come together. Probably because of the director, who shall remain nameless. But what?
Cheryl said clueless. Yeah.
Remain clueless. Yeah, it was a great company, but we had so much fun backstage, laughing and singing and playing. It was a joy.
Well, one of the things you did backstage, I don't know if Cheryl got my email, but you used to do a scene together from Dreamgirls.
We did.
Now, I don't think Cheryl, did you even get my email? You probably didn't.
It doesn't matter, baby, but I remember this because
okay.
Sam, we were so good at this.
Okay, so Cheryl, do you feel like starting with Cheryl?
Send me an abridged version of the dressing room scene.
Okay.
And so, Cheryl, do you mind starting with Curtis? Do you feel like playing a little Curtis? There you are.
Okay.
You were Curtis. You started with "There You Are, Effie." I've been looking all over.
Okay.
So before we start, this is the Billy Masters Players version of Dream. Abbreviated. And I
Billy,
will play Laurel. I'll play Laurel because I love sleeping with married black men.
So I'm going to play. Okay, I'm going to play Curtis and
"There You Are."
Okay,
you start
I'm
with
ready.
"There You Are."
Okay, so here we are. It's that time of the show when you hear dun 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 dun, and I come in. There you are, Effie. I've been looking all over.
I turn my back and find myself out on the line, and you could have warned me, but that would have been too kind.
I've been warning you since Chicago to clean up your act. You've been late, you've been mean, giving all kinds of bullshit flack.
That's a lie. It's just I haven't been feeling too well. Now what's next?
What's next?
Effie, please stop excusing.
I said it twice. Stop excusing yourself. You've been late, you've been mean, and getting fatter all the time.
That's a lie, you lie. I've never been so thin. You lie, because you've been, what is it?
Knocking off that piece. Thinks she's better than everybody.
She's better than everybody. She ain't better than anybody. She ain't nothing but common.
Dina, go
now,
ahead.
who you calling common? You're self-indulgent, self-absorbed, non-professional.
I'm calling you the common piece he's knocking off. Now you listen to me, that's you.
Blame it on the world. I put up with you for much too long. I have put up with your bitching. I put up with your nagging and only your screaming too.
Now when are you two gonna stop all this fighting?
This is between Dina and me.
Yeah, well, it's between me too. I'm as much a part of this group of anybody else, and I'm tired. Effie, I'm tired of all the worries you've given us.
I ain't feeling well. I got pain because I'm pregnant, but I don't even know.
Effie, we all got pain.
7 years I sung for you. I was your sister.
Oh, you were our trouble.
Now you're telling me it's all up. I need to hit a lower note.
It's all over. And now we're telling you it's over. It's all over. It's all over. It's all over.
I was supposed to.
All right. We are insane.
And I am telling you.
Sam, do it. You would do this from your dressing rooms. You would do this from your dressing rooms in San Diego like every day.
We have to do it good some way.
We had to do
That's vocal
we had
exercising. I can't even imagine. I don't know how I missed being backstage with the two of you because I saw First Wives Club. This is a better show. You're right, Sam.
Do you remember any songs from it, Sam? Me either, which is very odd because I know from all the shows that I've done, I remember something from every show, but I absolutely remember nothing from First Wives Club.
So what does that tell us?
It's a shame because there were some nice things, but you know what? I'm a little bit different from that because when I finish a show, the disc is erased. And I've seen videotapes taken from the mezzanine of even like Broadway shows that I've done. And I'm like, I don't remember that scene. I don't remember singing that song.
Wow.
I think I erase it and then start over again to fill it again because, there's very little left here. I'm dead inside.
I remember from the first flop that I even did. I remember.
Which was what, Cheryl?
Oh my God. My Broadway debut was a big flop of a show called Reggae. If you can imagine, it was a cast of these tall dreadlock Rastas carrying the Star of David across the stage to reggae rhythms. Does it spell hit or flop to you? Yeah.
I'm sweating already from the flops.
Yeah. Only if you were high to get through that.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny.
Was it open?
How many days?
How many days was that?
I think it was open maybe 21 performances, but the last show was when I met Tom Ian. Tom Ian was the original creator of Dreamgirls. And Tom Ian came backstage and he said, he had a very demonstrative way of speaking. And he said, the show is awful, but you are not. And he wrote down on the back of the back of a card.
You never know, right? You never know.
You never know.
You know, and it's funny, Cheryl, I think, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, I think you were the only one with Dreamgirls from the first reading till the Broadway production. Is that true? Or was it you and Loretta? I think it was you.
Myself and Loretta.
Both of you. Okay. I mean, that is extraordinary because that never happens.
Yeah, we were there from day one. We were in and out, up and down.
When I did the life, that whole cast, I was new to the show. That whole cast had been there for like 7 years, going through development and backwards auditions and changes. Lilius and Chuck, everybody had been on that show. In fact, my character came was written in like the last 6 months or something before because they needed this Iago character to tie everything together. And they wrote that fabulous opening number. You know,
and who sang that song originally? Who sang that song?
What song?
Wasn't it? You Use What You've Got. Was she the first?
Well,
was Liza the first?
I was doing he did a demo thing and getting friends to do songs. So he gave it to Liza, Minnelli.
Right.
She sang it. And then what was ironic was because she and I were like best buddies, brother and sister. And so she was always backstage. She was always at the show. And she came, and the day after the show lost the Tony, and Cy called and said, we got to bring this back to the show. We got to get press. He said, let's call Liza. Can you call Liza? And of course, and he's noticed since she was a child. So she came before the show. We found a key. We found all this stuff, and then pulled her up out of the audience after the show. During the show, every time I had a costume change, she'd be like, mirror me, baby. Then we take 3 steps to this side, and this. Then she was like choreographing it. And at the end of the show, they pulled her up, and we sang "Use What You've Got." It's on YouTube. If you look at Sam Harris and Liza Minnelli, "Use What You've Got," it's so fabulous and seemingly spontaneous, and it was great. I knew what he was doing, and he's what a brilliant composer.
Well,
That's
it's a great score. I just remember the first act was like an hour and a half. It was a really long first act.
No. It was long. And the director.
But I loved it. I mean, well, going back to Dreamgirls, Cheryl and I have watched this clip individually, and we've talked about it, but Sam's never seen it. So I just want to say, Cheryl has seen everybody who has ever done the roles, but we both were taken like at the same time of these 3 boys. Now I want to get their names right. I know I'm going to get it wrong. And Cheryl knows what's coming. They were 3 boys. I'll find their name in a minute. They were doing the 50th anniversary national tour of West Side Story. And at their closing night party, they decided to do lip sync. The Dreamgirls film had come out. They decided to lip sync Hard to Say Goodbye. But then they also did the opening number. And I found a clip of them side by side with the film to just look at the precision. So just take a look. It's only 30 seconds. Hold on. Cheryl, they had the clip is so long, but it is perfection.
I have to ask you, right out of the gate, though, I have to ask you,
do you think one of them's gay? I knew you were going to do that. I knew it.
That was fabulous.
I think maybe the Dina, because she's just too.
Hey, Cheryl, you said you've seen all these productions. Did you see the London production? Because Nita Whittaker's daughter played Dina. And
no.
I wasn't there in London and said she was just amazing.
I did not see it in London. I thought that I was going to go over with Jennifer and see it. She went ahead, she saw it, and then I ended up working during that time, so I missed it, and I really wanted to see it. But now, there's a lot of talk about bringing part or partial parts of that company to Broadway, but that we haven't heard any of that.
Well, it's funny because
go ahead. What, honey?
Go ahead, honey.
I was just saying Nita Whittaker, who's such a brilliant talent. What she's like from God, and both her girls are so talented. And Danny didn't even know, and he was like, "I just happened to see Dreamgirls," and it was crazy. Anyway, I loved that.
I just want to say
the daughter actually.
Oh, go ahead, Cheryl.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say the boy. Go ahead, Cheryl. We're figuring this out as we go along, kids. Cheryl, go, then I'll go.
Miss Whittaker's daughter, the one.
Oh my God! Did we lose Sheryl Lee Ralph?
Did
there she is.
Did Diva Simply Singing? Simply Singing while we were before she left. So so she did that, and I hope we get Nia to sing in Diva Simply Singing this year, because that's what I've wanted to have for quite some time. So And I saw
Yeah.
her at Kenny Lattimore's wedding, so she sang and she was wonderful.
I just want to mention the boys in the clip: Ryan Jackson, Logan.
I can't hear you,
Kessler.
Billy.
Oh, but hold on. Are you there? Can you hear me,
Why did I
honey?
lose Billy?
Oh my God,
can't
she's
hear him.
lost us. I'm here, honey. Sam, you can hear me, right?
What's going on?
I can hear you.
Okay, great.
Can you
Cheryl,
hear-
can you hear us yet?
I hear him.
Okay. Can
What
you hear me
happened?
now,
Let me-
darling? Okay.
That's it.
So,
No,
okay.
now I can't hear you at all. But I can hear
Can you hear
Sam.
me?
Let's see if I take her
Can you
out and
hear-
put her back in. Hold on.
It says
Oh my
I'm
God.
backstage.
Okay,
I'm-
hold on. Okay, how are you now? Can
in
you
the
hear us?
show. Why am I not being heard?
No, you're
Can you
being
hear us?
heard.
I can only hear you. So here's what I'm saying. Billy, 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 I have loved being on the show with you. And if you can hear me, the next time
We can.
we will pick it back up again when we can hear each other.
I love you.
Sam, you are a doll. I enjoyed singing with you. Billy, baby, Billy, baby, Billy, baby. We'll do it again
Sweetheart.
some other time. I'm going to leave the show now. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
I love you.
December 6th,
Thank
the
you,
30th
Sheryl Lee
annual
Ralph.
Diva Simply Singing. Bye-bye.
She's insane. You realize that, Sam?
And
Okay,
she's
I'm
gone.
going to say, before, yes, if she's gone. But I just want to say, got to get these guys' names out. Ryan Jackson, Logan Kiesler, and Billy Fagan. They're fabulous. Cheryl and I were talking, saying they should be at the next Diva Simply Singing, because if they
They
can
were
sing
great.
as well as they can dance, they're really unbelievable. Samula,
Doesn't
how
even
are
matter.
you? Oh, yeah, really.
What?
We'll play the record. We'll sing and they can dance. It's fine.
Exactly.
So I want to talk about you and Pippin, because I remember, I knew Pippin my whole life, but you had one image of it, which was Ben Vereen. And
Right.
they said, Sam's doing it. And I thought to myself, yeah, I love Sam. And that will be cute. I actually thought to myself, oh, that'll be cute. I know you can sing it. I know you can act it. I know you can dance it. But I didn't see the vision. And I was shocked. I was horrified. I was devastated by the last scene, because you had raised the stakes so high. I don't want to, ruin Pippin for people, but your character, he's trying to get Pippin to basically kill himself to save the company. And it was it was life and death. I mean, I thought you were going to have a heart attack on stage. It was so riveting. And that's when I said, my God, he's an actor, like a real, I'll kill you actor.
Thank you. Thank you, Billy. I loved doing that. And that's the thing, is when somebody like a Ben Vereen, when it's so iconic, it's, you walk in slowly, you dip your toe in the water, because it's been done so beautifully and perfectly and legendarily. And so I had to just try to start from scratch and try to,
Right.
just find my own thing. And I had a similar situation when I did Jesus Christ Superstar, and I did it with Carl playing Judas. And here he's done this for 30 years. He's done the movie, he did the show, he's been, and he's so brilliant. And I was nervous going in, and Tony Stevens, rest in peace, brilliant director, we built it from scratch and and I had to go in a different way. And I had this this sign in my dressing room mirror that said, Jesus should not need a Valium. And because I was so nervous, but I had to make him human, and I had to make him somebody who would get a following, which means he had to have a sense of humor, which means that he had to have a sense of emotional stakes that weren't like a deity. I couldn't play him like a deity. And only in finding that for myself. Otherwise, you're just trapped in what somebody else has created, and that doesn't serve anything,
Right. And you have really gone into other people's footsteps. I remember you made a huge splash when you went into the producers. And it was the first time I had seen you playing, because I know you as you. You're not the I mean, look, we're all over the top a little bit, but you're not the stereotypical gay person, gay character. And you were kind of asked to play the swish kind of character that was prevalent in the 60s. And I had never seen you do that. And it seems to me, and you'll tell me if I'm wrong, consequently, did that lead to the sitcom where you, again, somebody said, oh, he can play this role?
I don't know. I think that it might have had some influence in that, but I think that, because the truth is I haven't stepped into, that was the first time I had taken over for somebody. Everything else I've been able to, original production, which was terrifying because it's the producers, and I had a week put in, which I'm used to 6 weeks of rehearsal.
Yeah.
So I had a week put in with Stroman, and then you're on. And but the blessing in that show was Gary Beach, who played Roger Debris.
Brilliant.
A genius actor and comedian. And he, because he played we were partners in the show, and he gave me so much. First of all, he had a relationship with Roger Bart that was so thick and so perfect and choreographed that, again, he had to start over, but he was open to that. He didn't want me to come in and be Roger. He wanted it to be new. And he would say, he said, because the Carmen Gia would go out first before Roger would appear in this lavish apartment that came downstage. And I was on the phone with this ridiculous little monologue. And he said to me, I remember on the open night of my thing, he said, whispered in my ear before I went out, he said, scare them. And it gave me this sort of freedom to go wherever. And then we did the show every night. And he would say, right before our first scene, he'd say, let's say we're a little tipsy. And then no one would know this, but it
was your subject.
Informed. Or he would say, let's just say we've been a terrible fight and we've just made up. And it would add these wonderful dimensions to something. Gary was a long run guy. He would do shows for years. And so he knew how to make it fresh, always. Anyway, that was a great experience. I loved him. I loved him.
I bring this up to people a lot, is that a lot of actors I know, and I've been around the process from workshop to dress rehearsal to performance, and they will always take somebody aside who's not landing and say, where did you just come from? What did you eat? All the things that great actors know, and even if it's not said, it does inform what comes next.
It does. And I've every time I've taught a master class, I've gone to colleges or done something. That's, of course, exactly what it was. I'll tell you a funny story. There was this girl in one of these master classes. I hope she doesn't see this. She was in this master class, and she was sitting on a little chair, and she sang some song from Beauty and the Beast, right? And I said, but it was just empty. And I said, darling, where are you? Like, where are you seated? And she said, in a castle. And I said, do you live in a castle? Do you live in a castle? Because if you don't live in a castle, you have to find someplace else to live. So what do you say about the beast? I said, you got to find another beast. So that's exactly it. In a castle. Okay.
I just, again, I have asked those questions to people, and I'll say, well, where is she coming from when she walks on stage? And somebody actually said to me, from my dressing room. I said, that's not the answer.
That's not it. Not unless you're doing Dreamgirls.
Exactly. You wrote a book, and I want to show a picture of it, which of course was Ham Slices of a Life. And you did it in a format that I love. And I had Andrea Martin on Tuesday. And she did the
Right.
same thing with her own twist, which is individual chapters are individual essays. They can stand together, they can be run together, but it also leaves you open to if somebody says, well, so this never happened. No, I just never wrote about that. It gives me something to write for the next book. And I have been writing things down as well because people will say, you've met so many people, and like you, who has far more to say than I do, although try and stop me from saying it, we've got these stories, and if we don't write them down, we're going to forget them or they're just going to disappear in the ether. So I'm curious, what was your impetus for writing the first book?
I've written, I've always written for shows and for television and things like that, but I had written a couple of essays. One of them had been published. And my friend, and I'm not trying to name drop, but my friend Frank Langella had just released a book that he wrote called Dropped Names. And he knew my writing, and he said, you need to be writing a lot. He said, you just need to write without expectation, write without thinking what anybody's going to think, write without thinking of selling it, just write. And I did. And I just started writing little stories and essays and remembrances, and some of them were very poignant or very emotional for me. Some of them were funny. Some of them were observations. Sometimes things that I would do in my own shows, like just speaking on a thing. And, over a very short time, I had this collection of these essays that were not, like you said, were not and it happened very fast, because then when I did have a chunk of it done, I broke all rules and approached an editor from Simon & Schuster who was on my fan page. And I knew that's where he worked. And I did everything that you're not supposed to do. And I said, I've written some of these, if you'd like to, I looked him up. He was a prominent editor at Simon & Schuster. I've written some of these stories if you'd like to look at them. And he said, sure. And I sent them to him, and he called me back like the next day and said, there is a book here, and do you have a literary agent? I said, no, I have every other kind of agent, but I don't have a literary agent. And he said, let me set you up. And I had all these interviews with different major agencies, and I chose this wonderful agent, David Forer at Inkwell Management, because I knew that I would have a long-term focus with him rather than the William Morris or whatever. So basically, I got the agent. He made the deal at Simon & Schuster, and it all happened in 6 months.
Wow,
it's crazy. And then it came out a year after. It came out a year after, because then there was writing and editing.
So you wrote it. Did you have any idea when you were writing it? Because you're a storyteller. I've always known you to be a storyteller. In your shows, you tell stories. So it didn't surprise me that this was a written version of a lot of the stories I already knew you had told me personally or told audiences on stage. Did you think to yourself while you were writing this could translate to a stage show, an actual show?
Well, slowly. I didn't think of that initially at all. But when we were promoting the book, rather than going into, bookstores or libraries and reading pieces, I thought, I'm a theater person. Let's just go do this in theaters. So I went to read, I read parts of the book, and I took Todd Schroeder, my brilliant music director forever, and we would do songs. I would sing a song and then tell a story. And then when I was doing it in New York at 54 Below, my dear friend, Susie Dietz, brilliant producer, and Elaine Krauss, also brilliant producer, said, Susie was like, there's a show here. This is a show. And bing, yes. So then I would put it in chronological order, turned it into a musical, wrote a lot of original music, some by myself, some with Todd. And then Billy Porter, Todd and I went to New York, and Billy really helped to develop it into a live show, a show that was a theatrical art show. And he really got me out of my book head, because no, I don't have corona.
Because you were too close to the material, I'm sure.
Well, I was too close to the material, exactly, Billy. But he would say, write that scene, write that dialogue. I don't want to hear that story. Write the dialogue. So in this show, I play 12 different characters from different people in my life, including my son, who was 8. And it became a theater piece. And we did it in New York and then came here. And Ken Sawyer then directed it here. If you don't know Ken, he's so smart and so brilliant. And so then we did it here at the Renberg. And then we moved it to the Pasadena Playhouse. And then we filmed it. And the film is so gorgeous. I wish I could tell you can see it right now. We have a distributor. So hopefully it'll be on the air soon. I'm so proud of this. I'm so proud of it. It's just gorgeous. It's just beautiful.
And I heard that you're working on a new book or some new project. Is it a book?
Well, there's a couple of things. Yes, the woman Jen Bergstrom, who was the head at Simon & Schuster of Gallery Books, said you need to be writing fiction. I thought I was going to spend my life writing, a series of these stories, a la David Sedaris or something. She said, you need to be writing fiction. And I sat on that for about a year. And a good friend of mine, we're having dinner, and he said, I've never known you to have a writer's block. What's up with you? And I said, it seems so large. It's so ominous. It's one thing for me to tell stories, but it's another thing to a book, a novel, right?
Right. Had you written any short form fiction?
No.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, that is daunting.
It seemed, very daunting. And so we were having dinner, and he just asked me to start telling him stories. I said, well, I had this one thing about this. And I told this story, which was very personal. And he said, I think that's the seed of your book. And all of a sudden, the light came on. He gave me a yellow legal pad. I went in the corner during the dinner party, and I started making notes. And the book came. And I write very, very fast. And then there's the editing process. So I have this new book. It's called The Substance of All Things, and it will be out in about a month. You won't be able to get it in bookstores because there are none. Because nothing's open. And so I wanted to push this so it could be out right now when people are reading. And it's called The Substance of All Things, and it'll be on Amazon. I'll tell you, Billy, when we get closer so you can tell people when it's
promoted to everyone, of course.
I'm so proud of it. It's total fiction, but it's about a young boy. In short, it's about a young boy in 1968 in rural Oklahoma who learns that he has the capacity to heal. And what that means in the Bible Belt then, and it's a coming of age story. His father's raising he and his sister. He's exploited. It becomes quite epic, but I'm really proud of the writing. I love good writing. I love literary fiction. And I love going there in my head. And so I think I've created something that is a bit of a trip, an unpredictable little trip.
And certainly unexpected. It's really, if I were to say the last thing I would expect from you, aside from perhaps marrying Lisa Marie Presley, it would be writing this book.
That's so weird that you happen to mention that, because Lisa Marie and I...
if any gay man could be Elvis's son-in-law, it would be you.
Wow, that's a whole other thing. I mean, the Michael Jackson and whatever.
No,
I can't
madness. I do want to mention one thing before we go. We're running long, but I would be remiss if I did not mention one aspect of your performing career that also gave me quite a bit of notoriety. I'm not showing, so don't even worry. In case you're thinking, I wouldn't do that to you. But it was you and Steven Weber in the production of Hair.
Yes, that was a reprise too.
Yeah, well, see, I'll show it a little longer. It's the only picture I am showing, not even the picture of you and Danny, and certainly not the video. But that was an extraordinary performance because, again, talk about a cast. You had so many, and Marissa was in it, our friend Marissa Jarrett-Winokur.
She was the only one who didn't get to be naked, didn't have to be naked because she was pregnant, not really pregnant, the character was pregnant. And so they couldn't rope her. Everybody else had to be naked. And I should tell you, Billy,
Yes.
But this was first, it was a gorgeous production. It was
It
gorgeous.
really was. Peter Matz conducting the orchestra.
And Arthur Seidelman directed it. And it was really a powerful experience. But, typically in the productions of Hair, there's like 10 seconds of dimly lit, foggy light for 10 seconds of nudity. Not in this production. It's my call, right? Where do I go? Fully naked for like 3.5 minutes.
Walking down a flight of stairs.
It was horrible. And I had this quick change to get out of it.
Yes,
and I'm singing and I'm nervous and I'm naked, and Steven Weber is like getting a fluffer backstage.
Fluff, enormous. I think he helped me buy my car that year because of his penis, frankly. And so I thank you, Steven Weber, if you're watching. But it was, that was something that you were also brave. And I remember saying, they're not going to. Whoa, what the hell happened? Because everybody, including your husband, Danny.
Yeah.
Who was not your husband at the time.
Well, we were together.
Well, you were, yeah, right. But you weren't married yet.
We weren't legally married yet. But yeah, we were together. It was a great experience. I loved doing that show. But here, do you want to hear something strange too? The show was in 2001 in the summer, and we'd been living in New York, and I came out here to do it. And then I thought, you know what? I haven't lived in California in a long time. I was tired of doing 8 shows a week on Broadway and all that stuff. I needed a change. I wanted to do more television. And so we decided to move out here. So that very same year, we moved to California on September 10th, 2001, the day before it happened. And that was a whole other story. But I was going to say, there had been talk about moving Hair to Broadway. That production was so much attention. Well, can you imagine trying to mount Hair on Broadway in a time when we were so nationalistic and so waving the flag? And then there's this anti-war, this protest musical. It would have tanked so fast.
Well, I remember there was talk of you guys moving, oh God, was it to the Wiltern, and the Weislers were going to get involved. There was a whole
everything.
Well, just because I had already come back to Boston. I had been at the opening, and then it extended.
Yes.
And then they could not do enough performances. People were clamoring for it. And this doesn't happen with these small semi-stage shows, which this was fully staged, really. And they kept extending as far as they could with the union. And then it was either transfer to commercial theater or shut it down. So it was
the Weislers were going to move it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it would, the timing would have been bad, but it was a glorious experience and an amazing cast. Really great. Right. Now, Danny once in the nude scene he was on the stage and we were singing the song, and he notices that everyone around him is tittering. And he's like, oh my God, am I like shrunk right now? What's going on? I feel like I'm being made fun of. And he looked down and he was wearing white tube socks. He had taken off everything but white tube socks, which then further drew attention to him. But
yes, well, Danny has a lot to be. Yes, Danny has a lot of assets, shall we say? He's
the best, and today's our anniversary, as I told you, 25 years.
And I obviously we've been friends a really long time. And I couldn't love you both more. I mean, it's so funny. I keep saying this on the show, and people are like, well, I thought you hated people. I said, well, not people I'm going to have on the show. I don't call them.
No, but
there's a lot of people I love.
The thing about you is every time we see each other, it's like a little love fest, and you bring me so much joy, and we have so much the same taste in things. And you and I think what we have in common more than anything is we are fans of talent, and we allow ourselves to be moved and laugh and cry and have a theater experience, because there's nothing like that. And when people like you and me recognize each other in that way, that above all, I mean, I've never walked in a stage door in my life ever that I haven't thought, oh my God, I'm walking through a stage door. Right. And I've walked through a lot of fucking stage doors.
And I'm home. I mean, that's the other thing is I've traveled the world with another part of my life that I've performed in. And I am always happiest in a theater. And I love discovering theaters. I love going into the bowels. You and I will, again, there was a video of us backstage at Divas that you took, that we were going through the bowels of that theater first because they told us food was in an upstairs room somewhere. And we're like, okay. And we're like, but look at this room. And Billy, come here. I mean, we just have so much fun. And, it is about love. And also, I will say, when I was a little, kid, because I'm just a teeny bit younger than you, we're really about the same age, but in a suburb in Boston, and you put on Star Search and say, is that guy with the frosted hair doing the Edie Gourmet version of that song? And you say, that's my kind of guy. And what does that mean about me?
That's funny.
You and I were at this last performance of Edie Gourmet at Sendroff's birthday party. Do you remember that?
Of course.
That was the most special 60th, moment.
60th?
His 60th. That hamburger.
That's right. And she sang.
And we didn't think she would. And you and I are standing next to each other saying, pinch me. Are we here?
Right. I know.
So I have to just say one quick story about Edie, and then we'll go. But that night, I had never had a photo with her. And I said, I think I probably said, you might have taken it. And I said, I've got to get a picture. You're like, go. So I go over her and I said, this was such a special night. Could I get a photo with you? And she said, yes, took the picture. And she grabbed my arm and said, take another one. And I said, okay, why? She said, when you see somebody you love and you want to get a photo, take two. You never know when the fuck you'll see them again. Wow. And I said, did Edie Gourmet just say fuck to me? But that was the kind of lady she was. It was a very special night. You sang that night.
I did. Mark has these huge birthdays every 10 years. And I know we have to go, but his 50th was called the Night of a Million Star Clients. And it was so spectacular, and just everybody. And Peter Matz, there was a huge band, and Peter Matz was conducting. And but I love Mark Sendroff. He's been my attorney forever, but he's been my friend for exactly as long as he's been my attorney, because he's a mensch. He's the best. He's brought so many people together, and I love him.
He is a connector. I mean, so many of my people, I'll say, who did I like? Cheryl's like, oh, she met me through Jennifer Lewis. Well, 90% of the people in my address book I met through Mark Sendroff. And you and I, we met on our own, and that's a whole other story. But I want to have you on again. No, it's not a see me story. I swear. But I want to have you on again. And I want you to go through, find pictures and a list of people you worked with. And I want to go through a list of stories of like the people you've worked with. I do have one last picture because I made your book. And it was a funny kind of story. I don't know how it actually happened. We got there independently, but we both ended up in Bette Midler's dressing room. And I don't remember. That was Kiss My Brass in LA. And I took photos of you and her backstage. And you wrote me when you were writing the book and said, can I have the rights to this photo? Do you sign the thing? And secondly, do you have a better copy of it? I don't think this is the one. Is this the one you used, or was it the pose?
I didn't have pictures in the book, but I had pictures when I was promoting the book.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was for that. But I know that you knew the picture.
Night. Yes. No, I have some great pictures from that you took.
And it was just one of those nights that I said, again, are we in Bette Midler's dressing room? And as if it couldn't get any gayer, walking in behind us was Barry Manilow and Suzanne Summers. And I went, well,
as gay as it gets. I knew Bette from when I was 19 years old, and this man is all the way through my book, Jerry Blatt. He was my mentor and director. He taught me everything. And he created Bette with Bette from the very beginning of Bette. Wrote every show, directed most of her shows. And so I've known her since I was 19 in Jerry's house in LA. And so, you know, I knew her before anything had really, really happened in my career. And that was kind of a major thing to sort of have that, be around that and have that influence. And Jerry, and I've been really fortunate to have been taken under the wing at an early age from people that I had to pick my jaw up off the ground. You know, the Sammy Davises and the Lucille Balls and these people who, when I was
and the
very
Lizas, I mean, Liza, for God's sakes.
Yeah, people that just took me in. And I remember Sammy said, I feel weird saying it, but it would change it. I mean, it just affected me so deeply. I was doing a TV special that he was on, and I finished my song, and I came back into the wings, and he was standing there having watched me perform. Such a peanut, you know, such a little guy. And he put his arm around me and he whispered in my ear, "You're one of us."
Come on. Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, it was like this dream thing to hear from that kind of, that group, that pack.
And
those
what
people
that meant.
who understand.
Yeah.
It was made for me.
It's one of those moments you could say, if I drop dead right now,
I had that.
Yeah.
You're one of us.
Yeah.
And that, I told Liza that actually, and she gave me this enormous, huge, 5 feet tall photograph of her and Sammy, and leaning on each other in their black, you know, and she wrote, "You're one of us." As Sammy said, "You're one of us." So it was a very special thing. Anyway, I adore you. I love talking to you. We'll do it again.
Absolutely, because we're here. What else do we have to do? Aside from eating. Stop eating. Stop eating, Sam. Go out, take a walk. Take a walk.
I've been doing that. It's pouring rain. And
yeah, I know. Boston too.
Send me a link to the ring light that you bought.
Oh, yes, because I will send it to you.
Okay.
You know, we have to look, we're all helping each other. People, you talk about gratitude. People have been so good to me. And first off, friends that are doing this, who would do it at any time. It's not just because we're sitting home, but I never ask because I was always busy living. I wasn't just sitting here doing this. But the other thing is the fans. And I have to thank people watching this, your fans, Cheryl's fans, my fans, who have stuck with us because, as Sandra Bernhardt would say, without the fans, we're nothing. And so we thank you. Thank you. And I hope I hope you laughed. I hope you had a little fun.
And they don't have anything to do either.
That's true. Well, and I will say this again. Seth Rudetsky and James Wesley are raising money for the Actors Fund, actorsfund.org. If you've got some money, it helps all of the performers, and not just performers, everyone who works in theater as a professional is helped. They're raising money, doing 2 shows a day. I don't know how they're doing it. I'm doing 2 a week. I'm exhausted. And here's something people wouldn't expect from Seth. Seth wrote to me. I wrote him saying how great the show was. And he said, well, then why aren't you doing one? He's like, we owe it to the fans to keep people entertained during this time, to give them content. That's our responsibility. Right. And I said, I don't really want to raise money. Look, I'm barely getting by myself, and I don't, I'm not like that. He said, it's not about money. It's just doing it. And so Seth and James, thank you. If you've got a little money, go to actorsfund.org. Broadway Cares, Equity Fights Age is also great. And look, if you got $5 a month and want to buy a subscription to billymasters.com, we're not saying no. But we're here. We are here for you through this all. Sam, I adore you. Thank you so much. Right. We will do this again.
Yes, I'd love to.
Talk to you soon. I will email you all that information.
Okay.
Love you. Take care. Love to the family. Bye-bye. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Stay safe and God bless. Bye-bye.